Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Mickey and today I want to show you a process whereby you can make an interesting background and in the same process create some collage papers or papers that you can use in your all your craft endeavors. Just one little question. If you haven't subscribed to my channel as yet, please do so. And at the end of the video, if it was useful to you, please give me a like. That would really help me grow my channel, which means it will inspire me to do some more free videos for you. So let's get going. Let's see what I'm going to use. I've got some watercolor paper here. It's by Canson and it's 300 grams. I've got 2 pages. Then I've got some acrylic paints that I'm going to use. You can see the colors here, and I'll link all the materials that I'm using. I'll link in the description below, so you will have all the makes and all the colors. I'm also going to use my gel press plate. So here you can see my gel press plate, and I've got my two brayers here that I'm going to use to apply the paint onto the gel press. I'm just going to move the video again so that I'm centered here. And I've also got some papers ready here. This is copy paper. This is a copy paper. It's 160 grams. And I've also got ordinary copy paper of 80 grams available here. I like to have both. These papers, the 160 gram and 80 grams, I'll be using to clean my brayer on. And then you will see how we can transform that into very beautiful collage papers or decorative papers. I'll also be using some stamps in the process, and that I will show you later in the video. So first of all, I'm just going to put some paint on my gel press plate. Just a little bit of yellow, not too much, and I'm going to roll that out. I think I'm going to use my smaller brayer, so I'm just going to roll that out. And now, so I'm actually using my gel press plate as a palette, and I'm just very lightly going to apply the paint with the brayer on my watercolor paper. You can see just a little bit, just like this, very lightly, everywhere. And now I'm going to roll this onto, I'm going to use the 160 gram paper. I'll show you in a moment. I'm just going to clean my brayer on the paper, which gives that, and I'm going to use that later for some to turn into collage papers. Now I'm going to add just a little bit of orange, a little bit here, and I'm going to do the same. I'm just going to roll out the paint here on my gel press plate. Maybe mix it a little bit to get interesting colors, and I'm just going to very lightly clean a little bit. It's a little bit too dark for my taste, so I'm just going to clean it a little bit. I'll do some more. I'm taking off a little bit of paint on my papers mix that I set aside. You can see I'm going around the edges as well to create an interesting border. and one can always add some more paint later on. So I'm again just cleaning my brayer. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to spread out the paint that I have on my gel press plate, just like this. And I'm just going to take a stamp, which I'll show you in a moment. It's just, I've got a lot of stamps that I made myself, and I'm just going to add some texture to this. I think I'm going to use this one, and maybe this one, and what shall I use in addition? Maybe this one. So I'm just going to stamp into the wet paint like this, and now I'm also going to stamp this on the, just to show you, I'm stamping it on the page where I cleaned my brayer. In the end, maybe I'll just use just this stamp and not the others. We'll see. Go like this. Maybe some more here. And another one there. And I think that would already be quite give an interesting look. So I don't want the paint to dry too much. Now I'm going to take one of my ordinary copy papers to pull this print. And so I'm just positioning it, and then I'm going to rub it quite thoroughly. I'm pressing quite hard, and I'm going to have a look. Okay, let's see. And you see, I've got a beautiful paper that I can use in other projects. So I'm going to set this aside. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some more color to my background here. I'm going to use a red. This is a Carmen red. And you see, I'm not cleaning my gel press plate. I'm leaving the residue paint on the plate. So I'm going to take again my small brayer and roll this out, apply this onto the gel press. And now what I can do is I can add this color also to this page, maybe a little bit. The reason is I don't want too much of the red paint here. I can go a little bit darker. Let's see. And I'm also going to go around the edges, maybe a little bit like this. I think that would make for interesting contrast and an interesting edge. And now I'm just going to clean off the rest of this, also on this page that I've set aside. Okay, and what I'm going to do now is to add some of the yellow and the orange to the red, and I'm going to use that to stamp some more texture, onto this background. If I hold it closely, you can see it's quite a nice texture that one obtains by through this method. So I'm just going to add the yellow paint, a little bit of yellow paint here. Maybe that's enough, and a little bit of orange, which I'm going to mix. Maybe on the side as well. So let's see what happens. One never knows with this type of process what's going to come out, and that is what is so exciting. So there I have the yellow. If I press harder and I mix it a little bit more, it will become more orangey. So here I've got a little bit of the orange, and now I'm going to mix it a little bit. I'm going to go in the round and just mix a little bit. It seems to me that my red is already, oh, there it mixes. I thought the red is a little bit too dry as yet, but can you see now I've got a nice nice mixture, and I'm going to roll it out. So it's not just one color, but it's much more interesting. So when I'm going to stamp, I'll get all these colors in my stamping. And now I'm going to use maybe another page to roll out my brayer, which I'll show you later, because I have to work quickly, otherwise the paint is going to dry. So I'm going to use another one of my stamps that I made myself. So I'm just going to dab it into the paint and then press onto the background. Maybe go a little bit over the edge there. Let's do one here. Can you see how interesting it is? One gets a really nice, I have to roll out a really nice, some really nice shades of orange and yellow and red. A little bit more, and maybe at the top here. And it doesn't matter if you overlap, that's possible. If it overlaps, it's actually very pretty. And you can see there I didn't put it, I didn't take some more paint, I just pressed it afterwards. And you can see one has a very, very nice background. I can still add something. Maybe I won't like it, but it doesn't matter. I can always make a new one. I'm going to, the paint is still usable. So I'm going to take this one, which has a different pattern and a more solid pattern. And I'm just going to go here and there with this one. Oh, the paint is too dry. Let's see. Oh, there it goes. I just have to press it a little bit harder. There we go. Okay, so I can actually use that and get a nice, nice texture. Oh yes, I like that. It's beautiful. I won't do a lot of this. Maybe just one more up here somewhere. And maybe down here, like this. There's another place where I can profit with this, maybe over here. Okay, so there you see a very nice background, just within a very simple process. And you'll see where we're going with this. So what I'm going to do with this now, I'm still going to try and use some of this paint on the over here where I cleaned my brayer. So I'm just going to see how much of it I can get off here. It's going to looks very nice. I'll show you in a moment. I just want to carry on doing this. And one can always add some more colors to this page as well. Okay, this is what it looks like. So I have now the 2 pages that I can use later for collaging or another craft project. Maybe I'm just going to try on the first one to add a little bit more of this because it's a little bit darker, and I think that would look very nice. Oh yes, I'll show you in a moment. This is working very nicely, and the paint over here is almost dry, but I can still get a little bit out of it. Maybe over here. Okay, you can see now I've added some more color to it. Okay, so there we already have then have 3 pages that we can use for collaging. This is the one on the ordinary copy paper, 80 grams, and these 2 are on the 160 grams. Now I'm keeping this because later on I'm going to work with green and green colors, and maybe I can add this to these pages. So I'm keeping them aside here. Oh, it's interesting. I've done some calculations here, but that could add to the interest. I don't know. I thought I took a new paper, but anyway, since I didn't. Great. So I'll set that aside. And now what we can do is we can add a color here, maybe a lighter color, and we can pull this print. So I'm hesitating what I'm going to use. I'm thinking of maybe a Naples yellow. So to pull this print, I'm using a Naples yellow, which is a softer kind of yellow. And just going to do this way, roll it out. I'm going to use my larger brayer because I'm not going to add more paint on the background here. I'm just going to roll it out and we'll see what happens. Oh, it's always a surprise. Maybe I didn't put enough paint, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to roll it out on the 60 gram paper and we'll see what happens. And I'm going to use 80 grams, excuse me. I'm going to use the 80 grams paper to, no, I'm going to use the 160 to pull this one because I think it's going to be quite a nice one. Let's see. Now this I'll leave a little bit longer because this is thicker paper and I didn't put a lot of paint on. So to pull the print, I have to leave it a little bit longer and I have to rub quite hard. I could also use my brayer to actually press a little bit more, and which would help for the paint to lift. Let's see if it's going to work. Oh, it seems like it's going to work. And there you have it. Oh, I love it. I think one can do a lot with this. I love the colors. as you can see, not all, the paint didn't come off completely, but it doesn't matter. That would add interest to the next layer. Okay, so what we're going to do now is to again use the gel press as a palette, and we're going to print some leaves on here. So I'm going to again use some of my homemade stamps. I think I'll use this one, and I'll use this one, and shall I use this one? This one, maybe. Yeah. So those three would make for an interesting contrast, or to add another layer of texture to this page. So let's see how this is going to work. Now I've chosen olive green. It's called in English light olive green, and this one is green earth. So I'm going to mix these two colors again like I did with the warm colors, so that it's not just one color, but it adds a little bit more interest if one mixes two or three nuance of colors. Like I've got paper towels here to rub my hand. Okay, so let's see. I'm just going to spread this out. And you can see I'm not mixing it thoroughly. I like this idea of there being this mix of the colors. So what I'm going to do now is to clean my brayer on this one that I cleaned the Naples yellow, and I'll show you later on, because now I have to work a little bit quicker in order that the paint doesn't dry completely. So let's do this one first. So I'm just going to put it in the paint, grab some paint, and I'll just go there and take some more paint, maybe one here. Can you see the contrast? It's just so beautiful how it all comes together. How about one here? And there I didn't take enough paint, so maybe one over here. One on the side. And one there. I think that's enough. I had art lessons with my mother, and she always said you have to have an uneven number of elements. So let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I'm fine. And now I'm going to take this, the paint that I've got left here, and I'm just going to press on one of the ones that I've already done, which I'll show you later, because I have to use this paint now also to stamp with the leaves. So I'm just going to spread out the paint again. I hope it's not going to dry too quickly. Luckily today here in France, where I live, it's a cold day, so I think we should be okay with the paint. Okay, so let me take this one, and let's see where we're going to add. I just want to take a little bit more paint, and let's do it over there. Oh, I think the paint is too dry. Oh, It's still working. I just didn't press hard enough. And you can just follow your intuition as to where you want to place the elements. There are no rules. That's the wonderful thing about art and art journaling, excuse me, is that we can do whatever we want. Oh, that one came out nicely, and I think I'll do another one over here. Okay, and now I'll use the other one. I'm just going to use this to clean it on one of the other pages. It's actually dry, so it's no use. Okay, now the decision is, shall I leave it like this or shall I add some more? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull, maybe use this to add some more to this page, and then I'm going to pull a print, and I'm going to add like a lighter yellow over this to soften it a little bit, because I think it's a little bit too harsh for my taste. And I'll show you what we're going to do. In the meantime, I'm enjoying what's happening on this side, which I'll show you in a moment. It's really beautiful. And maybe two more. Sorry to keep you waiting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I need another one if I follow my mother's rules. And I'll put one over here. Okay, this is how this came out, which it's quite nice. And obviously I could use it as a whole or just cut it up. There are so many possibilities. Okay, so we'll do that. Now I'm going to pull this print, and what shall I put behind it? Let's think. If I pull it onto, also maybe onto the Naples yellow. It's not completely dry as yet, so maybe I could, before I do that, maybe I can add some more onto one of these pages. So I'll use this one, because if it's not dry, the paint is not dry here, when I put the paint that I'm going to use to pull the print, it will mix with the paint that's still wet. And maybe we could add some more texture. We could maybe do this. I'm just using this. That's nice. I'll show you in a moment. You can see it's an ongoing process, and really it's following one's intuition. You can see the potential in what you've got in front of you, and just go with the flow. Just whatever comes to mind, you can then go with that and create some really beautiful pages. You'll see when I show you this one. I'm quite happy with it. maybe a little bit more here. Okay, let me show you. Can you see? Very easy, a lovely, lovely paper that I can use later. So I'm just going to clean this over here. And now I think the paint is dry and we might get a more interesting background here. I'm going to take a chance and add some yellow and orange paint. I have no idea what it's going to do. Maybe perhaps more yellow, and so eventually I'm not going to use the Naples yellow, or maybe a little bit. I'll use a little bit of orange, just a dab, and then I'll add some of the Naples yellow to mix all of this. This will soften it a little bit. But this is really taking a chance and see what will happen. As they say, your guess is as good as mine. So let's see. Here we go. So go with the orange, mix it all. It might be a mess, it might be magic. That we'll only know in a moment. I think it's going to be nice. Let's see. And I'm going to clean this on this page as well. Okay, so let's bullet print. This one I'm going to pull also on the 160 gram paper. Again, I have to press quite hard for this paper. Really rub it well. And I can use my brayer to press a little bit harder. Also, I have a little bit of bubbles in my gel press plate, which I learned today how to get them out, but that's for another video. I'll tell you in a later video. It's someone that gave a very useful hint as to how to get the bubbles out of your gel press plate. Let's see. Okay, lovely. So that's really nice, and one can use it. You can see the leaves and the texture that I added. It seems like I'm all into autumn colors, which is of course maybe I'm inspired by all the autumn leaves that surround me, yeah, where I live. Okay, so next step is I want to add I want to soften this a little bit. So I think what I'm going to do is to maybe add a little bit of Naples yellow and mix in. I won't need a lot, I already got too much, and add a little bit of this yellow. I think, I'm not sure, but that this is an experiment and maybe it will work, maybe it won't work. We'll soon find out. This I'm going to mix with my smaller brayer because I want to go lightly over this. Okay, so now I have to be careful because I could cover. This is let's see, I think this is quite opaque. Where is it indicated? Somewhere here it must indicate whether it's opaque or not. I can't see the little square, but I think it's opaque or semi-opaque. Anyway, yeah, I can't see where it's indicated now, but I'll be careful. So I'll just go lightly. Don't press too hard. Yes, and that is exactly what I wanted. Can you see? I'm just pushing it a little bit more into the background. Just pushing everything a little bit more into the background. And I can also go this way. I don't always have to go to... Want to add a little bit more here where it's white. I see that it actually it's nice when it's more, when one has less white. Okay, and now I'm just going to clean my brayer. Well, that's what I wanted to show you today, is how to make a background like this. I did do another one, which I finished. Here it is, and I added a sentiment here. I added a text. As you can see, the colors didn't come out exactly the same way as it did here, but that's just how it works. And this is just a stamp that I stamped directly onto the paper with red and orange paint. I think for this one I did use, yeah, it's a stamp that I bought, but I also made one myself. This is a stamp that I just cut from stamping foam, and I pasted it onto a little wooden block. So you can use some of your own flower stamps, or maybe you want to add a larger focal point, bird, an owl, or whatever, and yeah, and just finish off your art journal, finish it off as an art journal page. Okay, so I hope this was useful to you. As I said earlier, please give me a like if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you very soon for another creative adventure. Take care of yourself. Bye for now.